Hi, Scorpios. Oh, you guys, hi. I'm trying to get my head wrapped around your energy right now. It's an interesting time of year for you all. We start off in your fourth house and an Aquarian energy, and then we move on to Pisces into your fifth house, into a very symbiotic, wonderful energy for you. I normally have notes for everybody. Your note was eluding me, quite honestly. What's interesting is you have the eclipse cycle with the Leo Aquarius axis happening in interesting parts of your chart, which is in your fourth and 10th houses. So there's the Leo eclipse on January 31st, so leading right into February. That's in your 10th house of your identity in the world and the work you're doing in the world. And then you have an eclipse on February 15th in Aquarius, which is about your home and your family and your intimate spaces. So you're kind of working on that polarity. You're working on these two sides of yourself, the external your reputation and the internal family, right? And so how do you balance that? I think that's a big part of it. Like, you guys are pretty good at being a bit of a chameleon between your external show and then switching to your home life. You guys go so deep that a lot of times those deeper parts, those really get shown to full advantage in your home and your personal world. So you're having a lot of action in these areas, and that Aquarian eclipse, it's a partial eclipse on February 15th, is going to be highlighting that intimate space. So, like, actually the note, all I could get down or through my head or whatever was people close to you. So take that with you. If that's useful for you, maybe it is. Hopefully doing the cards here will help me illuminate what exactly that's talking about. But this is an interesting time of year for you. This is a very intimate and romantic time for you, actually, Scorps, because it starts with home and family, Sun in Aquarius, and then Sun in Pisces with Venus and Mercury moving into Pisces in February. You have a lot of energy going into your fifth house of romance, of romance and creativity. So really good energy for you, very symbiotic energy. Oh my gosh, look at this. The Death card came out first. Hi, Scorps. How's it going? Ooh, you guys got some power going on. You have some serious power going on. Okay, let's keep shuffling here. I'm going to do 3 sets of 3 cards for the month. It helps us to work through the month in kind of a nice even keel way, to give us a sense of how energies are working together to bring us to new horizons, new awareness, new joy, new horizons. I already said horizons, forgive me. Once again, there's something trippy going on. I am filming this all like leading up to this Leo eclipse. I am a Leo sun, and I tell you what, it does affect me. It does affect me. This Leo Aquarius moon polarity thing is really powerful, and I'm enjoying it, but it always takes me to a really interesting place. So coming back down here to earth, just coming back down here to the grounded place of sitting here with you and having a conversation is always a really interesting experience when I'm experiencing all this. I know you guys understand that, so I can tell you that. Because I think being a Scorpio, a lot of Scorpio life is like doing exactly what I just described. It's like you're connected to all these sensors and experiences of the world that you're so sensitive to all that stuff. You're constantly having to live in this world, though, and be a part of it, which means that you have to do what I'm doing right now. So yes, appreciation. That's where I'm going with that. Okay. You have some things on your mind, and this is a theme that's been coming up. I think Aquarian energy tends to get people really cerebral in general. Aquarian energy is cerebral in and of itself. It's got that nature to it where you're weighing out things on an intellectual, distanced place where you are kind of taking a look at everything from a vantage point so that you can see what you really want. And I think that is affecting you guys. I will say that. You start the month off actually in this really great place, what I'm seeing in the cards at least. with the Death card, the Sun, and then the Queen of Cups. I feel like this is really high charged energy. Here you are in your natural element, feeling very much that you are what you are and you're living it and you're enjoying it. So that's really cool. But yeah, there's no but with that. So, here's the other side of the Death card though, which is the transformation, right? You guys are the sign of transformation. You are the sign of death and rebirth. We all know this, right? This is Scorpio 101, death and rebirth. But that even though you are the ruler of that, even though that's your natural place in so many ways, when the Death card shows up, despite that, it can also mean that you feel you are going through somewhat of a shift. That, you are experiencing a little bit more of that feeling of loss or change. However, I feel like this is more positive than that. I feel like, because it's here with the Sun and the Queen of Cups, and the Sun in and of itself is a very creative energy, right? It's an energy of playful creativity, openness to kind of letting new ideas in. And I almost feel like this is really good energy for whatever it is that you're doing in the world. Letting that sunshine in and bring you some new insights about how you're doing things. This is really good for creative work. So this doesn't even have to be your profession officially in the world, whatever, your job is. This can be about creative projects that you're doing, the things that are close to your heart, right? So I kind of like that. This is some deep diving stuff, and it's here with the Queen of Cups, so which I also associate with that Scorpio energy, just being in the water. Being in the waters, being deep in there with that energy. I've been dreaming about water for months. And, I'm very fire. I have a lot of fire. I do have Scorpio in some of my bigger placements, but I'm fire, So for me, it's like it's always a visitation to go into the water. For you guys, this is where you really have your power. Speaking of living in this world and being a part of another ecosystem, I almost feel like you guys are a little bit more in your watery mode at the beginning of the month. You may not be as accessible as you sometimes are. This may be a time where you are kind of retreating even. Interestingly enough, that's what I'm kind of getting. There's almost this sense of, and maybe that's where the people close to you thing comes in. Maybe it's that you are just kind of taking some time to just hang out with those people that get you when you're in this zone. You may be getting creative downloads where you just want to go home and work on that. Write that song, paint that picture, write the book. I don't know. But there's something going on here with you getting that impetus to do something. With your skills, with your soul. I mean, this isn't strong. For some of you too, it may be that you are really deeply involved with another water sign. And that you're enjoying that intimate space together, and you may just be holed up together, just hanging out in that for, days on end. There's romance there too. For Scorps, having Death and the Queen of Cups is kind of great in so many ways. Let me have a sip of tea here. Perfect. Okay, so we start the month off with you guys pretty solid. There's a solidness to this water, which is a funny thing to say. And then I think there's some kind of major point here. I don't know what's going on here. I'm going to talk through this and hopefully feel it out a little bit more. But Ace of Swords, Hanged Man, and the Eight of Swords. It's really interesting here because the Ace of Swords is the first one that came out, right? And this is when that Aquarius eclipse is happening, right? And eclipses tend to bring about big insights. They tend to kind of just sweep in there and energetically do some rummaging around to give you some bright insight. And the Ace of Swords here, it's like you're getting some kind of communication. Some kind of important conversation, maybe even a piece of important information that you needed to know about somebody close to you, right? And for some reason, it's giving you guys pause almost. It may be that you have to take that in. I mean, the Ace of Swords could also be a realization about yourself, about what you're doing, about how you're spending your time, about what you're working on. You have all this creative juice flowing at the bottom here. It may get you to the point where once we hit that eclipse and we're nearing the Pisces season, you realize you have to make a change in order to be more true to yourself, in order to live a life that's more in alignment with your natural way of being. Because, for me, when I see the Hanged Man and the Eight of Swords, this is that time where you slow down and you look internal and you take stock. You really take an honest look at what is serving you and what is not. Now, Scorpios, I love you so very much. You guys have this loyalty thing that's really great. I am all about it. I love it so much. But sometimes you ride yourself into. We've talked about this. You ride yourself into you drive yourself into the ground by sticking in stuff that doesn't serve you anymore because you're so loyal. You're going to try and find a way to make it work no matter what, even if it's killing the other person or it's making the situation harder, And sometimes it takes a while for the heat and the discomfort to build up to a point where you have to stop and really look at it. And I almost feel like some of you are hitting that. And this does not have to be about you're dating somebody, maybe you should really look at if you should be. It doesn't have to be that. This could very well be how you are utilizing energy. If you have some big project that's been lurking in your mind and bothering you for a long time, whether that's a big move or writing a book, it could really be nagging at you this month and really getting you, shaking you and trying to tell you, I want to be worked on. And that can really throw you into this energy. If you have some lurking thing that you want to address and you want to have some clarity on it, it will keep showing up in this way where it slows you down either physically or mentally or emotionally so that you figure it out. Sorry, excuse me, you guys. I'm so sorry. So that you figure it out. So that you figure out what this is. I think it may feel a little uncomfortable to be here, quite honestly. You start off with so much momentum at the beginning of the month, you're going to be thinking, nothing's going to stop me. And then there's something here that's slowing you down to a nice crawl so you can look internal and figure out what that is. Don't let it get too in your head. That's the one thing with the Eight of Swords. I love Eight of Swords. It normally precedes, a big breakthrough, a big shift in energy, because it slows you down enough and makes you uncomfortable enough that you hear and see what you need to hear and see. You download what you need to download in order to move on. And sometimes this can be a big truth check. It can be very uncomfortable. However, it always brings great rewards if you can sit with it. And the thing is that it almost feels like you guys have some kind of decision you want to make, need to make, and you're nervous to make it because the last three cards I have here, Two of Pentacles, Page of Swords, Nine of Wands. So the Two of Pentacles. Here's that decision. Where do you put your foot? Where are you going to put your foot? You're not sure. The Two of Pentacles is also, this is a card that somebody who's very loyal, like you guys, somebody who really wants to stick something through and make sure that they've tried everything they can. You juggle it till you can't anymore. You juggle it thinking you're going to be able to manifest it and manufacture it the way you want. And then of course you just get tired. But I think this is more about you guys. I'm seeing you have this discomfort. I'm seeing you having to kind of go down the rabbit hole and figure out what it is that's nagging at you, that you want to be working on, that you want to be shifting, that you want to be changing in your life. And you're getting to a point where you got to make the decision. You got to make the call. There's a fork in the road here. There's a choice to be made. There's something to be addressed in you that's nagging at you. And I do see you making the choice, but there's nerves about it. So the Page of Swords, like the Ace of Swords, is that green light. You're getting some kind of okay to go forward. Now, this could actually be really good for you. You may feel in the fog. We have three fog cards in a row, right? We have three cards that are nope, slow down, look in, think about it. And then you hit the Page of Swords, which is a piece of news that maybe you needed, or a piece of information maybe you needed in order to make the decision. It may be that you don't have all your information in a line before we get near the end of the month. Before we hit Pisces season, it may be very hard for you to make a decision. That's one thing to think about. You might just want to enjoy all these creative juices that I see around you. You might want to enjoy your intimate space and your safe spaces. Enjoy parsing through what's going on in your mind, because I think it may not be the greatest month initially to just be making decisions right and left, just doing this, trying that. You may find that doesn't feel as good as if you get some kind of really good clarity, some really good conversations. I feel like you guys need to have some conversations with the people close to you. And also you need some more information when it comes to the big external identity stuff. What you're doing in the world, where you're living, what career path you're on. You're getting some infusion of that energy though here. You're cutting through to something. Page of Swords always brings in some nice fresh air. With some information. Now, you're going to be looking at this information and you're going to be looking over it carefully. I feel like this is kind of like important. It's key stuff here. Knight of Wands, you've survived a lot. You've come through a lot. You're going to be looking at all that. You're going to be looking at where you've been hurt before, but maybe taking a leap of faith, or maybe putting yourself out there, or maybe trying to do this creative work. You may have nerves about shifting. You started off with the Death card. You guys, there's something going on with you all shifting gears here. Like shifting gears, like stepping into a new part of yourself. Quite honestly, this is deep stuff. I'm noticing with the fixed signs this month, there is a big kind of identity moment going on for each of them. And for you, I'm seeing the same thing. It's like you want to step into a new facet of being. You want to step into a new facet of yourself, and you're a little nervous about it. And honestly, what I'm kind of seeing here this month is that you are starting the journey. You're starting the conversations. You're starting to really think about the reality of what it is you need to change. You're starting to get some information about it. It may not be that you do the big leap this month. It may be that you just start the process. You may be getting those initial insights and opportunities that allow you to start a much larger process. There's a big thing going on in May, which is that Uranus is shifting over to Taurus. It's been in Aries for years, and it's shifting over to Taurus, and that's affecting all the fixed signs, because Uranus is this agent of change, this electrical revolutionary energy, and it's affecting all of us in different parts of our chart. I mean, honestly, for you, it's going to go right into your oppositional sign Taurus, which is your relationships. And I think some of you might find that this is a time where you're looking at how you relate to other and how you let people in, how you don't let people in, how maybe you manipulate situations or you are afraid of situations, depending on who you are. I don't know what your personal journey is with that, but that could be coming up as well. Now, the Four of Swords came up from my Cosmic Tarot. I've been pulling one extra card for every sign at the end of the reading. Four of Swords. So this is completely confirming what I was just saying, which is this may not be the month where you make every change, but this may be the month where you start to integrate what it is that's really been nagging at you and that you need to spend some time with. Four of Swords for me is absolute integration. There's levels, there's stages to learning or incorporating or realizing, right? And it's so important to take a breath with this energy and make sure you've got it all understood. I think there's going to be a lot of downloads coming in for you this month, like source downloads. Great month for meditation. Great month for going swimming, being by the ocean, honestly. Great month for writing down journals. Great month for feeling your body out, feeling it. Like, what makes you anxious and makes you uncomfortable? Are you in a room with somebody who, when they come into the room, you feel tense? Look at that. Think about things that bring you joy. Are you sitting at a desk writing and it feels really good? Do more of that. This is going to be a big month for you to be checking in at each point with what you're doing in the world and also the people you have around you. And for and there are going to be people and situations that feel really good. You're going to notice you feel energized, and there are going to be people and situations that have been nagging at you, but because you're loyal and because you're deep and because you can ride out stuff for a long ass time, even when it hurts, You can do it. I know you've got that superpower. Even with that being said, you're going to feel that, and you're going to want to figure out the next step. So it is a time of transformation for you guys. You're shining a light on the things that are no longer serving you. That's big. That's big, you guys. February is turning into quite the energetic, intense, truth-bringing kind of thing. And I think it's just that Aquarian, Piscean energy. Those two are the 11th and 12th signs. And they are deeply associated with the collective and with ascension and with really getting to the core of things. Not so much about the day-to-day, but when you really pull back enough to look at things, you realize so easily what can be dropped and what needs to be retained. So I love you guys. I hope that this reading was helpful in this journey of parsing out what's going on. I'm going to leave my info in the description box. Please check that out. Also check out Pink LUNE. She is just doing amazing stuff. 15% off, all handmade, all unique, all one of a kind. You will never see the same piece twice, ever. Nobody else in the world will have a piece like it. So check her out, and I will see you guys in March. And I will also be doing my moon magic for that Aquarius eclipse. So that seems to be a key moment for you, Scorpio. So I would check that out. I will have that up about a week before it happens. So I will talk to you guys all very soon. I'm sending you all my love to my Scorpio family. You know how I feel about you, and I will see you very soon.